Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm doing another Q&A video where I take your questions from Twitter and I answer them all in this video. So we've got a lot of amazing questions to talk about today, so let's not waste any more time and let's get it started. All right, our first question today is coming from Dandy VFX, who says, why have we had such a big gap between DLCs, do you think? Well, actually, Dandy, I don't think the gap has been any bigger, because if we come back to 2016, we've pretty much gotten the same release pattern. If you think about it, we got the surprise update in January that added the Sultan RS and the Banshee 900R. Well, in January of this year, in 2017, we were still getting a bunch of Benny's cars from import-export. So it was essentially the same DLC, and then adversary modes as well. And then in March, we each got a DLC. Now, I will say that the March 2016 DLC, Lowriders Customs Classics, was, in my opinion, a lot better than Cunning Stunt's Special Vehicle Circuit, but regardless, there was still a DLC, and that content lasted into April. With Lowriders Customs Classics, we had the tunables content, and then kind of the same thing here with Special Vehicle Circuit. We had those extra cars and then the extra adversary modes like tiny racers and stuff like that. And if the Gunrunning DLC comes out in June, it would actually be the exact same time gap between updates, just like it was in 2016. The only difference we saw in 2016 is that on May 9th, 2016, Rockstar did a newswire that was new updates coming soon, where they basically teased Cunning Stunts and Finance and Felony. So I wonder if we're going to be getting the same thing very soon. Could be within a couple days, could be in a week or so, of Rockstar basically giving us information on the next set of updates coming to Grand Theft Auto Online. And if the release date of Gunrunning is June or even earlier, then the time gap won't be any different, and it would be the exact same as it was in 2016. I just think it feels longer because I think the updates have either been worse, some people have said, or have just had less content. So that's really what I think the bottom line is right there. But really good first question to get us started. Now, that's kind of a great segue to another question from Daniel, who says, do you think at the end of this event week, we will have more information or possibly a trailer for the Gunrunning DLC? So, Daniel, my prediction is that we are going to be getting Gunrunning, as I've stated many times in the past, either at the end of May or the beginning of June, like June 6th. So as we get closer and closer, you're bound to think that, yes, we will be getting more information. Now, one thing that has a lot of people interested in this upcoming week is that the current event week is 2 weeks long. So Rockstar has nothing to announce this week. Well, wouldn't that just be the perfect opportunity to announce some information for Gunrunning? Some people have also guessed that this could be an awesome week to introduce some new Red Dead Redemption 2 information or provide an update on that. Either one I would be really happy with. I think I'd be more happy with the online update for something like Gunrunning. Maybe some screenshots, or like you mentioned, a trailer would be super cool. So yeah, I'm going to keep my eyes and ears peeled to the newswire this week, and I think you guys should as well, as there's a chance that could be some nice information coming for us regarding either an update or Red Dead Redemption 2. All right, this is a good question from Vincent, who says, when do you think Rockstar will stop the cheaters and hackers for good? So hackers, modders, and cheaters have really taken over Grand Theft Auto Online, especially on the PC. Still happening on the older generation systems. Not so sure about the current gen, like PS4 and Xbox One, but it's a rampant problem. One that I don't even think Rockstar predicted would be the case. And I don't know if it's an issue with the hardware or software of their game or the coding, or whether it requires a new update or a new game itself. I know for a fact that within the next patch update, they're definitely going to be making some changes that'll make it harder for people to use cheats and mods. They seem to be working on it, and right now they're just putting band-aids on there. So I'd imagine this is leading up to a patch that will eventually fix the majority of this, or it might take a completely new game. I'm assuming that Rockstar's learned a lot from this first Grand Theft Auto Online, and the next one, whether it be Grand Theft Auto Online 2 or GTA 6's version of multiplayer, I think that it will be a lot more secure, because if you think about it, this is Rockstar's first true attempt at a massive online multiplayer world. So something like this was bound to happen, but I'm imagining the next patch, things will be a lot better, and certainly, even though it could be years away, in the next online game, I think things are going to be 100% better. All right, let's talk about some questions about Gunrunning. That's obviously the hot topic. A lot of people are excited about this. This first question coming from Caleb, who says, how much do you think the most expensive item will be? I'm assuming he's talking about what expensive item is going to be in Gunrunning. My prediction is the most expensive item will be around $8 million. I personally think that the bunkers are going to be the most expensive thing in this update, and I think that there's going to be a lot of things that you can do to upgrade them. Very similar to the CEO offices that we have in the game right now, how you can add like accommodations for your character, you can add a gun safe, a money safe, stuff like that. I think there's going to be massive upgrades for these bunkers, like how many vehicles you can store, do you have like a weapons range, a firing range inside or something like that. And I personally believe they're going to be more expensive than the offices. Now, the most expensive Maze Bank Tower with like everything maxed out, I think it's close to like $5 or $6 million. So $1 million or two more honestly wouldn't surprise me right there. So yeah, I can see the bunkers being the most expensive item, or possibly a vehicle. Although we haven't seen a vehicle, with the exception of the Golden Jet, go over $5.7 million with the Ruiner 2000. So I'd imagine they would be close, maybe like 6 or 7 million. But I still think at the end of the day, the bunkers, especially with all those upgrades, are going to be the most expensive item in the Gunrunning DLC. Moving on, we have a question from Jordan who says, do you think there will be a special warehouse for the gun running vehicles released? So I'm assuming Jordan is talking about like the equivalent of what we got in import-export. And honestly, I think that is going to be what the bunkers are for. And that's why I said there could be multiple variables. There could be a bunker with a 2-car garage, a 4, 6, 8, and 10, depending on how many vehicles Rockstar release in this update. So I think that the special vehicle warehouse is going to be the bunker. I think that's exactly what it's going to be. I don't think there's going to be 2 separate things for your vehicles and then a bunker. I think that's exactly the purpose it's going to serve, to not only act as a base of operations where you're likely going to start the gun running militia missions and stuff like that, but also store your vehicles and so much more. Very similar to import-export. I wouldn't imagine that Rockstar would drift too far from the script of what we saw in December of 2016. Up next, we have a question from my friend Knifeguy who says, since we can only rappel in-game when calling a heli pickup, can you see Rockstar adding another option as a part of gun running? So a lot of people actually don't know about this feature, but you can rappel from the Merryweather helicopter, which is actually kind of cool. If you request to go to a location, you can actually drop down like you're rappelling out of the sky, which is actually quite unique. I think that there's a lot of features that Rockstar could use that would really make gun running awesome. I've mentioned utilizing the back of the cargo bob and utilizing the back of the Titan, being able to put people inside. And this is another great feature that I didn't even think of until I got a couple questions like this for this Q&A. Yeah, rappelling from a helicopter sounds awesome. I mean, we did it in some single player campaigns. We can briefly use it with the Merryweather services. So the features, the animation, it's already in the game. I say just make it more useful, because waiting for a Merryweather helicopter, no one does that. They just shoot the pilot out and then they take the helicopter to the location they want to go to. But yeah, that sounds awesome, and I would love to see Rockstar ultimately try and do something like that in Grand Theft Auto Online. That would actually be super cool if they made it more useful. Up next, we have a question from Matt who says, do you think we could see armored supercars and gun running, like a T20 mixed with an armored Kuruma? Basically armored supercars. We talked about this in my previous Q&A video, and I tried to grab new questions that we haven't really touched on all that much as far as gun running goes, because we've done a lot of Q&A since they announced it, and we haven't gotten any new information since. I think it's obviously a possibility, but I think the supercars do one thing really well: performance. They're fast, they handle well, and I think mixing that with the armored capabilities would be way overpowered. You would have to like shrink the performance of the supercars, and then at that rate, you're pretty much getting yourself like a Duke of Death or a Kuruma. Yes, would it be awesome? But I just don't see Rockstar mixing those two things, especially given all the supercars we got in import-export. I would imagine that if we do get more armored vehicles, they would be like more armored Patriots or armored Dominators, more muscle cars or off-road vehicles. Up next, we have an interesting question from Frost who says, do you think prices on older cars will go down? So this is funny, because this is an idea that I've had for a little bit now, that older items and older content should eventually get price reductions. And to a degree, Rockstar do that with like the sales and targeted discounts that we see on some of the event weeks, where items like the Entity are like 50% off. But I think in general, as things get older, things should get cheaper. That's the way it works in real life. That's not to say that Grand Theft Auto Online has to mirror that, but if you take a look at a car like the Zentorno or something like the Adder, maybe its price should be decreased as it gets older, as it becomes, you know, worth less because the new factor of it has worn off. And if Rockstar did that, that might actually allow them to justify some of the expensive prices that we see right now. They could say, well, it's expensive because it's brand new, and it will eventually get less expensive as time goes on. Just like a new car gets less expensive as it gets older, for the most part. I mean, there's some like classic muscle cars that are worth more than, you know, a ton of cars today, but for the most part, that's the general idea. So I think that's a cool concept. We've seen Rockstar kind of do something similar to that, where they've made, you know, prices cheaper based on if you complete an objective. So yeah, I could totally see them doing that, and I think that that would be awesome for a lot of people. Up next, we have a question from GTA 5 Daily, who says, when do you think GTA 5 updates will end? I get this question a lot, but honestly, at this rate, I'm starting to think never. Grand Theft Auto Online has made so much money. In fact, I think it's going to make more money than Red Dead Redemption 2, just based off of shark card sales and the amount of, you know, cost it took Rockstar. So I really do think that Grand Theft Auto Online is their like new cash cow, and that's what they're going to keep going with. And even if the updates slow down, I still think there's going to be a constant flow of updates to Grand Theft Auto Online. Even if we see other games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Bully 2 be introduced, I still think, like I said, we're going to see constant updates, just maybe possibly at a slower pace. All right, and the final question we got today is a pretty simple one. It comes from Lawrence, who says, can you do a studio tour 2017? Do you guys want to see that? If so, let me know in the comment section. Let me know on Twitter. This is like the very end of this video, so only like the hardcore fans are probably listening right now. But if you want to see a studio tour, drop a like on this video. Let me know in the comments. Let me know on Twitter. I have made a couple changes to my setup since the last one, and you guys may or may not be interested in that. So let me know in the comments section down below. But anyways, that's all the questions that I'm going to be answering in this week's Q&A video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to drop it a like rating. That'd be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, where you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.